I'm telling you right now, I'll put this on everything. The Giants are not trading Saquon Barkley, not for a 4th round pick. They are not trading Saquon Barkley for a 4th round pick. I can guarantee you that. Giants fans, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a couple of weeks, but I'm back. We had to let things percolate, see what happened with the new staff. I'm happy to say that not only was GM Dave Gettleman cut loose, well, he retired, but we all know that he was fired. I'm not only happy to say that he was let go, but Joe Judge was let go as well. I believe everyone was on the same page that we needed to clean house. The Moores and the Tishes, the last couple hiring cycles, have been doing this piecemeal. They've been hiring a GM, keeping the coach, firing the coach, keeping the GM. We needed to clean house to let the GM and the head coach come in together so that they can have their own vision, and I am here for that. So Joe Schoen gets hired, Bill's assistant GM. He hires his offensive coordinator from Buffalo, Brian Daboll. I think it was a good hire. I'm just going to leave it at that. I do think it was a good hire, and I will move on beyond the head coaches that were not hired. Brian Daboll comes on. He hires Mike Kafka, former NFL quarterback, former Chiefs QB coach, to be his offensive coordinator. I think all things being equal, he really would have liked Ken Dorsey to come from Buffalo with him, but the Bills moved Ken Dorsey up to the OC spot, so you can't fault him for that. Defensive coordinator, they now have Don Wink Martindale from the Ravens, a outstanding defensive coach. I believe since he was at Baltimore, they were a top 10 defense every year, but this last year, and that's because they had a bunch of injuries. So I'm all good with the coaching staff. I think it was a good hire. I'm excited to see exactly what happens here upcoming in the future. We need to nail the draft, build some momentum, go into the season with a fresh offensive approach, a fresh defensive approach, and hopefully we'll start to see some wins. Right now, I'm sure everyone is watching the Underwear Olympics, better known as the NFL Combine. It's going on right now this whole weekend, and one of the things to come out here over the last couple of days was defensive end from Oregon, Kayvon Thibodeaux, says that the Giants was hard on him in his interview. Basically, he came out and said, yeah, the Giants were hard on me. They, basically said that, this is the big city. If you was to come here as a top 10 pick, what would happen? What would you do if you haven't had a sack in 5 weeks and the papers are getting on you? The fans are booing you. And of course, he said all the right things. Like coaches have coach speak, players have player speak. So he said, he would keep his nose in the Bucks, keep coming to practice, work hard, yada, 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 yada. I think he's a great player. And if he's there at 5, I think that the Giants should definitely draft him. If an impact defensive player, an impact offensive line player. So we need work in the trenches. We need to draft in the trenches. We need an impact offensive lineman or impact defensive lineman, either offensive tackle or a defensive end. So if there's a Aiden Hutchinson that's there, if there's a Kayvon Thibodeaux that's there, if there's a Evan Neal that's there, if there's a premier tackle or premier pass rusher on the board, I think you have to take him at 5. And I would also take Sauce Gardner. I think he's the only cornerback that I would take, but you need to get a premier player with these top 10 picks. If a premier player is not there, if they're going the first 4 picks, then I say drop back, trade back as far as you can. Get another first round pick, because next year is a QB draft. You'll have all the good QBs coming into the draft. This year, there's no good QBs. That's the reason why we're sticking with Daniel Jones for another year, because if there was a uber QB coming in to the draft, the Giants would be all over it, looking for a new QB. So if a impact player, preferably in the trenches, offensive line, defensive line, is not there, I would love to see the Giants fall back fall back in the draft, accumulate more picks, fix the offensive line, fix the defensive line, look for a pass rusher, keep building, that back end, cornerback. There's a lot of players that are being cut, that are not going to come back, that are free agents. Keep building in the draft. We need to turn this team around, turn the roster around, make it better so that we can win some games in the future. Talking about cuts, Kyle Rudolph and Devontae Booker was cut this week. Kyle Rudolph saves roughly $5 million. Booker saves roughly $2 million. $7 million combined. The Giants were upwards of $40 million over the cap, so now they're about 30 plus, so somewhere around 32, give or take. The cap is fungible. We all know that. But going back to Rudolph, we know what, at least we think we know what GM David Gettleman was thinking at the time. He was thinking Evan Ingram have hands of stones. I don't know how many times there's been an interception because Daniel Jones throws Evan Ingram the ball. It bounces off of his hands. It bounces off of his face mask, and it goes to the other team. So he was looking for a reliable tight end that he can use in the red zone. I think that the execution was poor. They were going after Hunter Henry, and the Patriots swooped in, got him, and so the Giants went from, I guess you can say, plan B, but really that should have been plan F, but they should have just saved the money. Rudolph already had a Lynx Frank injury, needed surgery, took him a while to get going, and it never materialized because the offensive line was horrible. They went into the season thinking that the offensive line was going to be average, and it was not even below average. It was horrendous. So those free agent signings didn't work. We all know what Gettleman was trying to do. He was just trying to save his job. It didn't work. He hurt the team, and he lost his job anyway, even though he retired. We all know that he got let go. So as far as cuts, those are the cuts that took place this week. There are more to come. One of the players I know that the league has been talking about, Giants fans has been talking about, is Saquon Barkley. Dan Dugan of The Athletic, while at the NFL Combine, is hearing that Saquon could possibly bring back a fourth and James Bradberry bring back a third. I'm telling you right now, I'll put this on everything. The Giants are not trading Saquon Barkley, not for a fourth round pick. They're not trading Saquon Barkley for a fourth round pick. I can guarantee you that. If it was a second round pick, I can see the Giants doing that. But for a fourth rounder, they're just going to hold on to him, hope that he's healthy, and hope that he plays well. As far as James Bradberry, he can go for a third round pick. I think we all seen, he's getting up there in age. He's about to hit his 30s, and he significantly slowed down last year. I don't know how many times he got beat deep. He is not a deep corner anymore. He's not a press man corner. We got Don Martindale coming from the Ravens. He likes press man corners. So again, that's why I said Sauce Gardner may be an option if a impact defensive end or a impact offensive lineman is not there. I wouldn't mind Sauce Gardner, as I think that he is the number one cornerback coming out of college from Cincinnati. Right now, the Giants roster is it's very interesting when you look at it. They're very top heavy. These are the players that are making the most money right now. Leo, Adoree Jackson, Kenny Golladay, Shepard, Blake Martinez, Logan Ryan, Bradberry. I think that Adoree Jackson, Leonard Williams, Kenny Golladay, I think those players are safe. Shepard, if he doesn't take the pay cut, he's getting cut. He tore his Achilles late in the year, and I think if he was to get cut, no team would pay him more than the vet minimum anyway. So I believe they're asking him to take a pay cut down to $1 million. I believe that's what we're seeing in the papers right now. If he doesn't take that, he is going to be cut. I think Blake Martinez has a chance of being cut, mainly because he's making some of the better money on the team. And at linebacker, coming off a ACL injury, Patrick Graham is no longer here. He brought him from Green Bay with them. Blake Martinez is a possible cut candidate. I would not be surprised if I see that. James Bradbury, just talked about him. He can get traded for a 3rd round pick. If teams are willing to give a 3rd round pick for James Bradbury, trade him. Trade him right now. Get that 3rd round pick. As many picks as you can get in this upcoming draft in the middle rounds, we need to get. Logan Ryan. I think Logan Ryan is a prime candidate to get cut. I'm hearing rumblings that the front office is split. Half the people think he's too valuable, he's a leader, they need to keep him on the roster, but he's 31 years old and he is slipping. You have Xavier McKinney, you got Julian Love, you roll with those two, you let Logan Ryan go, you start rebuilding the team, you look to the draft to get some safeties, and you move forward. He's making too much money. We do not need all that money on the cap. There's 30 plus more million to get underneath the cap. They need to cut these players, turn his roster around, nail the draft, build momentum, put in a great offensive plan, put in a great defensive plan, and start winning some games ASAP. That's what the Giants want to see. I'm sure that's what the owners want to see as well. But this is your Giants update for this week coming out of the combine. I appreciate everyone coming back to the channel. Appreciate all the likes, appreciate all the comments. Drop me a line, let me know what you think. Thank you very much. Have a great night, Giants fans. I'm out.